Welcome once again to the Damon Floyd Coaches Show here on Talk 101.3 The Buzz. Our coaches shows are brought to you by L&B Appliance out there on Durkee Road. Josh Taylor and the guys out there, see them for your appliance needs, for new appliances, for repair work, or if you're a do-it-yourself kind of guy, they'll sell you the parts and you can do it yourself there. I'd like to welcome Coach Floyd to the show again this week. 2 games under our belt, Coach. Big game coming up Friday we'll talk about in a minute. Last week, 47 win over the Tyner Rams. Obviously, you're not the team that won the state championship last year. They lost a lot of seniors there. We got off to a really, really good start, though. First play of the game. Was that play pre-call before the game, thinking you see something on film you like, or was that something to spur the moment that you decided that little, it's a, matter of fact, tell you, it's a lateral, I guess, out in the side to from Caleb to Boo, and a 46-yard run after that. So was that something that you saw?
Yeah, we script plays throughout the week. You know, our guys know going in, first down, this is what we're going to run, second down, this is what we're going to run, third down, you know, based off what we see on film and, you know, kind of put us in position. Usually after, I think, the first 2 drives, then, you know, you still have a chart you go by. You know, 1st and 10, these are the plays we like. 2nd, medium, and then where it's at on the field. And it's the same defensively. You kind of know what you're going to call going in, and then that's where obviously you make adjustments if you're seeing different fronts, coverages, and all those things. But you know, we weren't real sure what Tyner was going to line up in, so it was kind of a safe play. It's like really a run play, you know, the old toss sweep, and then we executed really well, and you know, defense came out and played well, and we got up on them early, and then you know, the clock ran really quick in the second half. But I'm really happy with the way our guys came out, and you know, I was really worried about if the hype was going to get to us, if our players believe all the stuff that the media is saying and the rankings, because really that stuff does not matter. We've not earned anything yet, and we got to go out and prove it on the field. So to see them come out ready to play was exciting. Well,
it was a quick start, and the Bears just really rolling after that run there, catch and run, I guess you call it, the lateral. We had Booth only touched the ball 3 times, scored twice on the pass and then a run. Or 21-yard touchdown. And then Jackson Wilson, you know, 74 yards, 8 carries, a 21-yard running touchdown, 16-yard pass reception for a touchdown. We named him our player of the game. Earl and I did on our show here. But you got speed of Boo and the deceptiveness, and you got the power running of Jackson after catch the ball. So that's a good combination there. And we only ran 36 offensive plays, yet scored 40 points. We had 5 possessions the first half, scored 5 touchdowns. And we had a 6th touchdown on a defensive turnover when the freshman, Zane McIntosh, knocked the ball out of the hands of the ball carrier. Tito had it scoop and run there for a score, and man, it was 40-7 at halftime, and it was over with then. It's just the way it went.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to make some explosive plays. We got a lot of guys that, you know, if you get the ball in their hands, they're going to be able to do some stuff. Talked about Jackson, who's coming off that injury last year, and the way he's back to the way he was, you know, his freshman, sophomore year, and after missing last year. And, you know, Jay Allen should be coming back this week. Of course, you got Jarius that's making huge plays when he touches the ball. So yeah, we have a lot of options, and we still got more guys that can do things with the ball. So I think we'll have to run a lot more plays this week. And, you know, I don't know if we'll have those explosive plays, but you know, from a coaching standpoint, you're never going to complain about scoring too fast. No. But sometimes you score too fast because you're putting your defense out there a lot. But, you know, Friday night, a lot of things went our way. It was one of those games that kind of just went perfect. And like you already mentioned, Tyner, I think they had lost 17 seniors from last year's team. So those guys have talent. They just haven't played a lot of Friday night. So they're going to get better as the year goes on. And then on the flip side of that, you take our guys who are very experienced. You know, we'll be very similar to them next year. We're losing maybe more starters than that that are seniors this year. And I think we got 8 guys we counted the other day that have started since their freshman year. And that doesn't include Demarius and Jarius because they didn't play their freshman year. If they'd have played their freshman year, you're probably having 10 starters that's played since their freshman year. So
that's a lot.
I think that's what happened Friday night. I mean, it was just that the talent level and the experience level was a little bit different. No offense to Tyner, but that's just the reality. Yeah. And they were that way to a lot of people last year, you know, and that's high school football. Sometimes it's like this. And we've been down there, and this year we have a lot of experience. It doesn't win you in the next game, but sometimes those things take effect on Friday night, and I think that's what happened.
Well, and the players with experience, they've been there and done that sometimes. They say, okay, guys, they might have got us on this one. Let's regroup here and take off and go. Defensively, we mentioned McIntosh, a good freshman there. Braxton Arthur, Wiley Suskowitz. Braxton had a brilliant game, I thought. Wiley Suskowitz, a name we've not heard called a lot. We called his name a lot Friday night because they really came through. good young guys mixed in with seniors, and the defense just shut them down there. Tyner really didn't get into our territory but twice, and one of them was that third quarter when we kicked off and they held the ball for 14 minutes, all the way through the third. Have we ever had that happen before where you never even touched the ball in the quarter? I don't recall that. It's been
it was a running clock, so
Yeah,
it wasn't
it was.
typical where they stop it on first downs and out of bounds.
And they were in no hurry either.
Yeah. At that point, I think the game was kind of over. And but that was Tyner did some good things. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's more on us of not getting off the field. And we did that last week against McMinn, coming out at halftime. So that's 2 straight times we come out and we're not playing with the intensity and the focus that we need to play. So obviously that's got to change this week. So defense did a lot of good things, but there's still little things that we still got to improve on, and hopefully that happens this week.
Well, we got to get our special teams extra points straightened out too. We missed a couple of those.
That special teams are something we've been really focusing on and talking with the team about, and we got to make sure we take pride in those and give. I tell them this: if you can't play on special teams, then don't expect to play on offense and defense. And if you get fired on special teams, then so a lot of young guys, we're trying to give a lot of starters breaks on special teams. So those younger guys, they've got to take pride in it, and that's how you earn more reps on offense and defense.
Yeah.
So it's a chance for a lot of guys to play, and some of our guys, just to be quite honest, they're not taking advantage of it. So you'll see a lot more starters on special teams this week.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of a lot of players playing, we had the ball one time, one possession the entire second half. It was about a 9-minute drive. Tyler Cook and Butts and all those guys in the backfield there, and you had a lot of guys. And the heat, it was good to get them off the field because it was so warm, but also good with a lead like that to get all those guys in there that don't get to play a whole lot. And they had a good long drive to do that. And we didn't score, but we had a good long drive. So
yeah, those guys practice hard too.
Yeah.
Talking about earning it, they have to be our scout team, so they're going against our varsity all week, every day. And so it's good for them to get in the games and get some reward. And I thought a lot of good things happened for the young guys.
Sure did.
They played well, and they need to get some game time experience because a lot of those guys you've seen, at the end of the game, they're going to have to be starters next year, and it'll be their turn. Yeah. So, any chance we get to get some young guys some reps is obviously a good thing on Friday nights.
Let's take a break right now. We come back, we'll talk about the big game coming up this week, probably the big game in the state, when number 2 Bradley Central, that's us, takes on number 3 Maryville as they come to Bear Stadium. We'll be back in a moment after a word from L&B Appliance. Back here on Top 101.3 The Buzz with Coach Damon Floyd, talking about the upcoming game now with Maryville this Friday night. They've really rolled 63-14, 52-6, their first 2 wins over teams that both they're 1-1. So that's not the best competition, maybe certainly not the worst around. Averaging 57.5 points a game. Well, we're not chopped liver. We're averaging 41 points per game too in our first 2 games. So do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game, or do you think they're allowing 7 points per game? And we're allowing 14 points per game. So is it what do you see?
Been here a long time, so I've seen a lot of Maryville. I don't ever remember, even the years that, a team like Oakland, who's had multiple Division I players on their team, that some of them go and play in the NFL, they didn't score a lot of points to beat them. I would be shocked if we're able to put up a ton of points.
Yeah.
because they're a good team. They're very disciplined. They're coached obviously very well. But I think the biggest thing about Maryville is when their kids step on the field, and you can tell this, if they're on offense, defense, their kids believe and they trust each other, players and coaches, that whatever they have called, it's going to be successful. And they play with an edge, and they play with great effort and great intensity every single play. They take great pride in it. And when we turn on film, you don't see anything different. It's the same Maryville team that I've seen for years. And it'll be a very tough Friday night, and our guys know that going in. It's something we've talked about. We're not going to go in and have those explosive plays. I hope we do, but more than likely we have got to sustain drives. And we've not had to do that yet, but that's something we're going to have to do Friday night. And then on the flip side, they are making explosive plays. We've got to control that. When we gave up an explosive play against Tyner, we gave up an explosive play against McMinn. So we have got to be more disciplined. We have got to be the most disciplined team Friday night to even have a chance.
Well, Maryville, like you say, it's a mental thing a lot of times. They come out on the field, hey, we're better than you. We're going to show we're better than you. We're going to beat you. And then some of the teams that they play come out on the field, they're already intimidated before they get on the field.
I'm going to disagree a little bit. I'm going to disagree a little bit.
Okay.
Just because of the fact, I think some people don't realize the talent that Maryville's had. I mean, there's been years that we went out there and they have 8 guys that are going to play Division I football. We counted this year in bowl games, the coaching staff, we were just watching different bowl games, and we counted there was 8 players from Maryville playing in bowl games last. So
really?
Yeah. Do they have the right mindset and discipline? They coach very well. Let's not forget they're very talented.
Yeah. Yes, they are very.
I mean,
and well coached.
It's not like these kids are not going to play next. And that's Division I players. Yeah. That doesn't count the Division II or Division NAIA and those guys. Like, they have talent and they've had it for years. So they have talent again this year.
Well,
have they lost a lot of those guys? Yes. Is there as many Division I guys out there? I can tell you this: you look at 3 of their offensive linemen; they're all 6'6", 300. We faced Alcoa and Baylor in scrimmages. Maryville's line's bigger.
Really?
Yeah, and those guys will play at the next level. So I mean, I don't think it's mentally other teams are scared.
Yeah.
We're definitely not
scared.
But it's a talent thing too. It's not just they can beat us because they're better. I mean, they're talented, very talented.
Well, Derek Hunt, obviously, he lost Ledoux to a leg injury back the first game of the year, and he's out. Prince Davis going to fill in for him. They always have that running back, that one, or not just one, but 2 or 3. It doesn't matter. This guy's out, put another guy in there, next man up, as you say. And you expect them to try to run the ball a lot. Is that what they like to do?
There's no doubt. I mean, we got to get used to that, and we talked about that. Our defense knows that people are going to try to run the ball because they want to keep the ball out of our hands. They don't want Caleb and Boo and Jackson and Jay Allen and Jarius. They won't want them having a bunch of touches, and I understand that. And it is no secret. Now, Maryville will give you a ton of formations, so you've got to line up correctly to we have over 30 formations on our hit chart right now. So if you line up wrong, they're very smart. They know how to attack it. So that's why I was talking about discipline earlier. You can't just go chase the ball every time. It's almost a little bit like wing T. Now, there's spread formation, but it's really wing T kind of stuff in the box. But they're definitely going to run the football and try to keep it out of our hands, control the clock. Ideally, if they get up on us, it's going to be very hard to get up, stop. And then that's part of the game plan, though. Keep the ball out of our hands and run the ball and wear us down.
They're going to have the same defense they have year after year?
Yeah. They'll give us – they are very multiple, but if you give them certain formations, we pretty much think that they're going to do what they do. Why would they change? The success they've had over the years. So we pretty much know how they're going to line up. Now it's about execution. And they're very good defensively. I talked about, good size up front. Linebackers can all run. Secondary does a really good job of keeping everything underneath them, not giving them a big play. And their thing on defense is, can you continue to drive without making a mistake?
Yeah.
And we've got to do a little bit better of that defensively. If they get first downs, we can't panic. They're going to get first downs. We got to continue to play, and as the field shrinks, hold them to a field goal attempt. Try to keep them out of the end zone. And that's what they really do a great job of is not giving up easy points. And it's hard for high school teams, it's hard for college NFL teams to drive without making a mistake, and they capitalize on it.
Well, one of the big keys Friday, as it is in a lot of games, turnovers, we can't have them. Maybe we can force 1 or 2 and stay away from penalties. We did a good job on 4 penalties last week, and I think that's always a key but maintain your composure. This is probably one of the most top games that Bradley's played in many, many years, and I know everybody around the state's looking, hey, number 2 and number 3 playing each other this week at Bradley, and a lot of people will be looking at the outcome of this game.
They are. I think the thing, and we've talked about it, is this is nothing new to Maryville.
Right.
You know, it's every year there's always good teams that pop up that's on Maryville's schedule. So for Maryville, it's just another game.
Right.
Because they go through this constantly for the last, 25 years of, oh, this team can play with Maryville, and then they come out. And it's been us a couple times. Even last year, it's 13-10 at halftime. It's 4th down late in the 3rd quarter. We go for it. We get a big gain 20 yards. It's a penalty.
Right.
Well, right after that penalty, okay, we got a punt. Block punt for a touchdown. We go back on offense, interception, pick 6. Like, they score 14 points like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. They capitalize on mistakes. We cannot make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be fun. Us in media love games like this, and it's also our first region game for both teams. Mm-hmm. So it gives you a leg up on whoever the winner is there, and let's hope the Bears can pull it through and come out of that injury-free. And speaking of injuries, we're going to have our guys Rodney back and Jay Allen.
Yes, they're both cleared.
Okay.
But they still got to go perform in practice.
Okay.
And are they 100%? No, but just like we talked about before, neither is Maryville. And
Right.
I tell our guys, if you're playing football at this point in the season and you're healthy, it's because you're not playing. You're standing on the sidelines. So are we banged and bruised? Yes. So is everybody else. No excuses. The next guy up, it's time to go play.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, folks. We encourage you to get there and get there early if you don't have reserve seats, because I think we'll have a biggest crowd we'll have the entire year here at Bradley Central when number 2 Bradley squares off with number 3 Maryville here at Bear Stadium on Jimmy Lovell Field there. I'd like to thank once again Josh Taylor and folks at LB Appliance for the continued support of Bradley Central football. I'd like to thank Mr. Winstrow and his class here that produces all of our shows here on the Bear Network. And until next time, we'll say so long for now. Join us at 5:30 though on Talk 101.3. And then until next time, God bless and go Bears.